People found it very interesting that when FDO came out, Pooh Shiesty shouted out Yo Gotti by name very clearly. And didn't say nothing about Gucci. He showed love to Yo Gotti, who's clearly Gucci's op. You know what I'm saying? Him and Yo Gotti and Shiesty are both from Memphis, so they got the street ties in it. And another interesting factor is that Hernandez Govan, which was the guy who was indicted for the murder of Young Dolph, he actually beat the case.
Yes.
People are saying was closely related to Yo Gotti in the sense, or in the street tie sense. He was real close to Yo Gotti and Yo Gotti's brother.
I know you're talking.
Rest in peace. But Yo Gotti's brother, who was murdered.
I know you're talking about. Big something. Big something.
Well, Yo Gotti's brother was murdered in connection to this Young Dolph case, allegedly, and Hernandez Govan beat the case. He was the first person to come out when these allegations came out of this robbery. He was the first one like, yo, this really happened. Stop believing that this is a lie. Yes, your favorite rapper got robbed. It is what it is. Like, it just is what it is. Big Joke. There you go.
Yes, I knew it was
Big Joke is Yo Gotti's brother. Hernandez Govan has given us a lot of information that we weren't privy to that has came out to be real. See, Hernandez Govan also said that after Young Dolph died, he said a lot of people don't know Yo Gotti's truck, Rolls Royce truck, got shot up like 2-3 days before that. Like, yeah, a lot of people don't know about that because Yo Gotti never reported it. He made a song where he mentions it, but it's very interesting because it kind of changed the narrative.
After the arrest came down, a lawyer showed up to represent Big 30 in the federal case. Not a public defender, not someone Big 30 hired independently. Yo Gotti's personal attorney. That detail didn't make it into the federal charges. Yo Gotti's name isn't in the official paperwork. But that lawyer showing up, someone with a direct personal connection to a man who had been publicly interested in signing Pooh Shiesty for months, is the kind of detail that changes how people read the entire situation. And once people started asking why that lawyer was there, the questions didn't stay small. Here's the full picture. The relationship that built this situation, the contract that made it explosive, what allegedly happened in Dallas, and why the connection people keep pointing to matters even if it hasn't been officially confirmed. That Gucci Mane didn't sign Pooh Shiesty as a transaction. He gave him real backing. Features, public support, promotion that went beyond what a label contract requires. Pooh came out of Memphis with raw energy and a sound that felt genuinely different, and Gucci recognized it early enough to matter. The platform that 1017 provided turned local buzz into national attention fast. Back in Blood with Lil Durk accelerated everything overnight. Charts, streams, industry attention. Within months, he had gone from promising to arrived. Then, in 2021, a federal firearms case in Florida ended the run. By 2022, he had pleaded guilty and received more than 5 years. Tours stopped, releases slowed. The industry kept moving without him. But his catalog didn't stop. Music earns whether the artist is present or not. Streams kept coming in. And playlists kept pushing his records. The brand he had built kept generating revenue while he had no ability to monitor numbers, question statements, or challenge anything. He was locked into the terms of a deal signed before everything changed, with no practical ability to renegotiate or verify what was happening in real time. His mother went public about it. The figure she was discussing reached over $25 million, amounts allegedly generated off his name during his incarceration that she claimed weren't properly reaching him. Those numbers haven't been legally adjudicated, and the full financial picture isn't confirmed. But the belief was there when he came home in October 2025, and it was driving decisions. There was also a new opportunity waiting. Yo Gotti's CMG label had been expanding aggressively, signing major artists and building serious momentum out of Memphis. The interest in Pooh Shiesty made obvious business sense. He already had a name, an existing fan base, and the kind of street credibility that takes years to build from scratch. A deal with CMG would have been a clean restart. The problem was that he was still contractually tied to 1017 records. You can't sign with a new label while an active contract with another one is in place. Whatever his grievances about how his catalog had been handled during his incarceration, the legal relationship with Gucci hadn't been dissolved. And from what was circulating, Gucci wasn't prepared to simply let him walk. He had invested in building that artist, helped push him into the spotlight, and a release wasn't something he was going to agree to without negotiation. So you had two sides with competing interests, an artist caught between them who believed he'd been wronged financially, and no resolution in sight through the normal channels. That's the environment in which January 10th, 2026 happened. A small group connected to Gucci flew to Dallas. They were told the meeting at the recording studio off Dallas Parkway was a chance to sit down and work through contract terms. Standard in the industry, nothing that should have triggered alarm. They arrived, waited for the space to open, and walked in without any reason to expect what was about to happen. According to federal allegations, he had organized the meeting himself. The location, the timing, who would be there. He arrived with a group that included his father, Lantrell Williams Sr., and Big 30. As the people who came for a conversation were separated immediately, one group to the recording room, another held in the control room. That kind of separation only happens when everyone involved already knows their role. In the recording room, he allegedly produced an AK-style firearm. Contract termination documents were already prepared and waiting, brought specifically for this meeting, not written in the moment. His father had handled the paperwork. Gucci was told to sign. He initially refused. With a weapon present and multiple people controlling the room, the papers were eventually signed. His father reviewed the documents, identified a missing date, and the paper was pushed back under the same conditions. Our Big 30 recorded a video of Gucci verbally confirming the release, documentation meant to make the forced agreement usable afterward. In the control room, the situation was physically violent. One victim was choked to the point of near unconsciousness. Movement was restricted. Jewelry, cash, and personal items were taken. Multiple people inside said afterward they didn't know if they were going to make it out. The whole thing lasted more than an hour. When the group left, the evidence they had generated was already waiting for investigators. Pooh Shiesty was still under supervised release, which meant a GPS ankle monitor was tracking his location in real time. When investigators looked at the timeline of the Dallas incident, they didn't need to reconstruct his presence from witness accounts alone. The location data placed him at the exact address at the exact time. Surveillance footage from the studio and surrounding businesses matched the timeline. Social media posts appearing shortly after showed items that resembled what had been taken, posted publicly with timestamps attached. Phone records showed travel patterns leading up to January 10th from multiple states. The evidence came from independent sources that all pointed to the same picture. Arrests followed. And then Yo Gotti's personal attorney showed up to represent Big 30. That's the detail people can't move past. Not because it proves anything on its own, it doesn't. Lawyers have multiple clients. Professional relationships in the industry create connections that don't always carry the implications people assign to them. Like an attorney representing someone connected to a case doesn't automatically mean their other clients are involved. But the timing and the specific connection matter in context. This wasn't a random lawyer. It was someone personally tied to the man who had been publicly interested in signing the same signing that required breaking free from the exact contract that the Dallas meeting was allegedly designed to terminate by force. If the goal of the meeting was to get Gucci to sign a contract release, and a CMG deal was waiting on the other side of that release, then the appearance of Yo Gotti's personal lawyer in the aftermath of the arrests connects those two things in a way that's hard to dismiss as coincidental. What exactly that connection means is where confirmed facts end and questions begin. Yo Gotti has not been charged. Yet he has not been officially named as a subject of the investigation based on public records. His attorney representing Big 30 could reflect any number of relationships and obligations that don't imply direct involvement in what happened in Dallas. But federal investigations don't operate on a fixed perimeter. They follow connections, they follow communication, they follow who benefits from an outcome. When investigators identify a potential motive, someone waiting on the other side of a contract release who had direct communication with the artist involved, that person's relationship to the situation gets examined regardless of whether they're charged. The question of whether that examination has produced anything or will produce anything is one the public doesn't have access to yet. What is available is the surface-level logic that people keep returning to. An artist who needed out of a deal, a label waiting to sign him if he got out, a forced meeting designed to generate that release, and the personal lawyer of the man running that label showing up to represent one of the co-defendants after the arrests. Those are facts. What they add up to legally is something the investigation and any subsequent proceedings will determine. Pooh Shiesty and multiple co-defendants, including his father, are facing federal charges that carry potential sentences reaching decades. No verdict has been reached. Everyone involved is legally presumed innocent. But the full shape of what happened, the financial grievances, the contract deadlock, the opportunity waiting at CMG, the organized meeting in Dallas, none of the evidence trail that built itself in real time, and the lawyer who appeared afterward, creates a picture that's harder to read as a simple act of frustration or recklessness. whether it was something more structured than that, and whether anyone beyond the people already charged had a meaningful role in setting it up, is the question that remains open. And the fact that it remains open is exactly why Yo Gotti's name keeps coming up in every conversation about this case. Not because he's been charged, because the dots are there, and people keep connecting them. Do you think the lawyer connection points to something deeper? Or is the internet reading too much into a professional relationship that doesn't mean what people think it means? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe for more breakdowns on the cases and decisions shaping hip-hop right now.